You're staring at a blank page, the cursor blinking, mocking you. A massive deadline is looming. An important presentation is just hours away, or you're about to have a conversation you've been dreading for weeks. Your heart starts pounding in your chest, a frantic drumbeat against your ribs. Your palms get slick with sweat, and your breathing becomes shallow and fast. You can feel the panic rising, a hot wave of pure, uncut adrenaline. You are, for all intents and purposes, freaking out. And then, it's nothing. The pounding in your chest softens to a dull thud. The frantic thoughts slow down, replaced by a strange, hollow calm. It's not peace, not really. It's an unnerving quiet. You look down at your hands and they feel distant. Maybe they're tingling, like they've fallen asleep. You might feel a strange sense of detachment, as if you're watching a movie of your own life instead of actually living it. One moment you're in the absolute center of a stress hurricane, and the next, you feel nothing at all. If this has ever happened to you, you've probably asked yourself, what is wrong with me? Am I broken? Did my own emotional response system just short circuit? It's a profoundly weird and often isolating experience. You might think you're just strange, that your body is reacting in a way it shouldn't, or that you've somehow lost the ability to feel things properly. It can be scary, this sudden void where intense emotion and physical sensation used to be. You might even feel a sense of shame or guilt about it, as if you failed to respond correctly to the pressure. But what if I told you this experience isn't weird at all? It's not a sign that you're broken, but a sign that a deeply ancient and incredibly powerful survival system is working exactly as intended. That numbness, both the tingling in your fingers and the quiet in your mind, is actually one of the most sophisticated defense mechanisms your body has. And it's there to protect you. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this bizarre phenomenon, going to break down, step by step, the real reason your body goes numb under pressure, and reveal the hidden purpose behind this strange and unsettling response. To understand why your body sometimes hits the mute button, we first need to talk about the system that holds the remote, the autonomic nervous system, or ANS. Think of the ANS as the automatic control panel for your body. It's the silent, tireless operator working behind the scenes, managing all the things you don't have to consciously think about. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, your body temperature, all of these are regulated by the ANS. It's the reason you do and have to remind your heart to beat or your lungs to breathe. It just happens. This system is a masterpiece of biological engineering, and it's split into two main branches that act like a gas pedal and a brake for your body. These two branches are almost always working in a delicate, balanced dance. First, you have the sympathetic nervous system. This is your gas pedal. Its job is to get you revved up and ready for action. When you perceive a threat, whether it's a bear in the woods or a terrifyingly passive-aggressive email from your boss, the sympathetic nervous system kicks into high gear. This is the system that triggers the famous fight-or-flight response. Then, you have the parasympathetic nervous system. This is your brake. Its primary role is to calm you down, to conserve energy, and to manage your body's rest and digest functions. It slows your heart rate, aids in digestion, and helps you relax after the perceived danger has passed. In a perfect world, these two systems work in harmony. The gas pedal gets you out of danger and the brake helps you cool down afterward. But pressure, especially intense or inescapable pressure, can throw a wrench in this elegant system. The threat doesn't go away. The deadline still looms. The difficult conversation still has to happen. Your body can't fight the deadline, and it can't run away from the presentation. So, when fight and flight are off the table, the autonomic nervous system has a third, less talked about option up its sleeve. And this is where the numbness begins. It's not a failure of the system. It's a different kind of program, one designed for situations where you feel trapped. It's called the freeze response, and it's one of the most misunderstood yet powerful survival responses we have. Before we get to the freeze response, we have to appreciate the sheer power of what comes first. When your brain first detects a threat, it doesn't just tap the gas pedal, it slams it to the floor. This is the sympathetic nervous system taking complete control. Imagine you're an early human, and you've just stumbled upon a saber-toothed tiger. Your brain's threat detection center, a little almond-shaped structure called the amygdala, immediately sounds the alarm. It sends an emergency signal to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus acts as the command center for your entire body. It then activates the sympathetic nervous system, which signals your adrenal glands located right on top of your kidneys. This is where the chemical magic happens. Your adrenal glands start pumping out a cocktail of powerful stress hormones. Most notably, they release adrenaline and cortisol. These are your body's ultimate crisis response chemicals. Adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, is the immediate response hormone. It's pure, unadulterated energy. Within seconds, it transforms your body into a survival machine. Your heart rate skyrockets, pumping blood with incredible force to your major muscle groups, your legs, your arms, your core. Your breathing becomes rapid and shallow, maximizing oxygen intake. Your pupils dilate, sharpening your vision. Your senses become hyperacute. Everything that isn't essential for immediate survival gets dialed down. Your body is all in on escaping danger. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, kicks in next. It works a bit more slowly than adrenaline, but its effects are profound and longer lasting. It ramps up sugar in your bloodstream and suppresses non-essential functions. That means digestion slows. Your immune response takes a back seat. Even your reproductive system hits pause. You don't need to digest lunch or fight off a cold when you're about to become lunch yourself. This entire cascade is what we call the fight or flight response. It's an evolutionary marvel. And here's the wild part. It's the same system that kicks in when you're facing a modern stressor, like public speaking. Your brain can't always tell the difference between a predator and a panel of judges. The perceived threat is enough to trigger the system. You're standing there, heart pounding, muscles primed, senses sharp. You are physically optimized for a life or death struggle. But there's a problem. You can't fight the deadline. You can't run from your desk. The threat is inescapable. Your body is screaming, go, go, go. But you have nowhere to go. This internal conflicted adrenaline surging without an outlet is deeply unsettling. And it sets the stage for what happens next. When fight or flight are not viable options, your body doesn't give up. It shifts strategies entirely. It initiates an ancient survival plan known as the freeze response. This isn't just doing nothing. It's called tonic immobility, a full-body state of stillness. Think of a possum playing dead, or a deer frozen in headlights. It's not passive. It's an involuntary and biologically programmed reaction. And yes, humans have it too. During a freeze response, your sympathetic nervous system is still active. You're still full of adrenaline and cortisol. But now, the parasympathetic nervous system slams on the brakes. Specifically, a branch called the dorsal vagal nerve takes over. The vagus nerve is massive and runs from your brainstem to your abdomen. The dorsal part is ancient and deeply connected to survival shutdowns. When this nerve activates, it tells your body to shut down, to play dead, to become still and quiet. This means your heart rate may slow dramatically. Breathing becomes shallow or may pause altogether. Your body freezes, both literally and emotionally. This simultaneous gas and brake action causes high arousal paralysis. We're flooded with energy but locked in place. The system says, don't move, don't feel, just survive. From an evolutionary perspective, it makes perfect sense. Stillness helps avoid detection from predators. Movement draws attention. Stillness may mean survival. But here's the kicker: your brain also starts to release its own painkillers. Natural opioids flood your system. Endorphins help you tolerate what might come next. These chemicals dull sensation. They don't just reduce physical pain, they reduce all feeling. This is your brain's mercy mechanism. It numbs you inside and out. It creates distance from potential trauma, puts your body and emotions on pause. You aren't broken. You're running a built-in ancient survival script. The freeze response is your body doing exactly what it evolved to do. Now we can finally connect the dots between this complex neurological state and that very specific, very weird sensation of physical numbness. That tingling in your hands, the feeling that your face is made of cotton, or the sense that your limbs are disconnected from your body. It's not your imagination. It's a direct consequence of the war being waged between your body's gas pedal and its brake. There are a few key things happening here. First, let's talk about blood flow. During the fight-or-flight surge, your body reroutes blood from non-essential areas to major muscles. Where does that blood come from? Your extremities, your hands, feet, and even your face. This lack of blood flow creates that familiar pins and needles sensation. It's similar to when your foot falls asleep. The nerves in those areas aren't getting their normal oxygenated supply. They start sending strange signals your brain interprets as numbness or tingling. Second, let's look at your breathing. When you're anxious, your breath becomes fast and shallow. This rapid breathing changes your body chemistry. You end up exhaling too much carbon dioxide. It leads to a condition called respiratory alkalosis. And guess what? It also causes numbness, especially in your fingers, toes, and face. Third is the issue of muscle tension. Stress makes your muscles clench without you even realizing it. This is your body preparing for impact or action. But when that tension becomes prolonged, especially in areas like the neck and shoulders, it can compress nearby nerves. Compressed nerves mean faulty signals. Faulty signals mean, you guessed it, more numbness. Your face is especially sensitive. It's filled with nerves and blood vessels packed tightly together. When tension hits or vessels constrict, it doesn't take much to trigger that deadened feeling. But there's one more layer in. It's the deepest of them all. The brain's natural painkillers, those powerful endorphins, are flooding your system. They don't just dull physical pain. They dull your sense of being in your body. This is the ultimate numbing effect. You feel like you're watching your life through a screen. It's as if the volume on all sensation has been turned way, way down. Put all of this together: reduced blood flow, altered breathing, nerve compression, and endorphins. And what you get is that eerie, disembodied sensation. You're not imagining it. You're not broken. You're in the middle of a multi-layered biological shutdown, and that's just the physical side. The emotional part of the freeze response adds another surreal layer. It's not just that your body goes numb, your mind can too. This is known as dissociation. It's the brain's psychological version of going offline, a mental emergency protocol. Dissociation is a survival trick. It creates distance between you and the fear or panic you're feeling. It's that emotional flatness, the sense of detachment. It's all part of this same system. You're not weak for feeling this way. Your mind is trying to protect itself. It's flipping a psychological circuit breaker before things overload. Cortisol also plays a big role here. While it's meant to energize you, prolonged exposure disrupts the brain's mood chemistry. That can make emotional numbness even worse, which when you feel flat, joyless, or like you're on autopilot, that's the brain pulling back from emotional overload. It's trying to get through the stress without letting you drown in it. This is what emotional numbing looks like. It's powerful, and it can be incredibly disorienting. You might still perform tasks and have conversations. You're distant, removed. And the scariest part is that you can start to wonder if this numbness is your new normal, if you've somehow become less human, less capable of feeling. But that's not what's happening at all. Your nervous system is doing its job. It's protecting you the only way it knows how. The freeze response isn't a failure, it's a feature. It was built to keep you alive in the wild during the worst-case scenarios. It doesn't know the difference between being chased by a predator and being overwhelmed by email. To the nervous system, a trap is a trap. Your body reacts in ancient ways to modern threats. And that's what makes this whole system so confusing. It's built for survival, but it's not always helpful in today's world. So if you felt this numbness physically, emotionally, or both, know this: you are not malfunctioning. You're responding in the exact way nature intended. The system is just being overused. So, we've explored the biology, the hormones, and the ancient responses that make your body go numb. But why does this matter? Why should you care about something that's supposedly built into you for survival? Because in today's world, that freeze response can get triggered by things that aren't life-threatening at all. And when it does, it can leave you feeling confused, ashamed, or even broken. But the truth is, it's just an outdated software trying to protect you from modern problems. Deadlines, social tension, emotional overwhelm. Your nervous system doesn't see these as manageable challenges, it sees them as traps. Once that trap is sensed, the ancient survival program kicks in. Tonic immobility, the freeze response, is not some glitch. It's a legacy. It's the nervous system's way of saying, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to wait it out. We see it in the animal kingdom all the time. A mouse caught by a cat goes limp. Possum plays dead. It's a last-ditch effort to survive. The body numbs. The mind dissociates. And if that buys even 1 second of safety, it's worth it from an evolutionary perspective. The release of endorphins isn't just to block pain, it's to dull the trauma. to help you survive something unbearable without breaking apart. Emotionally, this detachment allows your brain to process less and endure more. It creates a buffer between you and the horror. It says, we'll deal with this later. Right now, we just need to make it through. But in modern life, there is often no tiger. There's no literal predator. It's just a pile of deadlines, notifications, or a social interaction that feels too intense to bear. And that's the rub. The freeze response isn't malfunctioning. It's misfiring. It's responding to emotional pressure as if it were mortal danger. You're not weak if you shut down. You're not broken if your body and mind go quiet under pressure. You're human, and your biology is just doing what it was trained to do. We evolved in a world where freezing could mean the difference between life and death. And while the world has changed, our nervous systems haven't quite caught up. You might not need the freeze response as much anymore, but it's still part of the package. Still running in the background, waiting to activate when things feel too intense. Understanding this can change the way you relate to yourself. Instead of judging the numbness, you can begin to see it with compassion. You can say, oh, I know what this is. I'm not failing. My body's protecting me. That shift in perspective is powerful. It turns self-criticism into self-awareness. It turns confusion into clarity. Because you are not your stress response. You are not the numbness. You are the one witnessing it, learning from it, and growing beyond it. And that is where healing begins. Not in denying the freeze, but in recognizing it, understanding it, and gently guiding yourself back into presence. You don't need to override your biology. You just need to work with it, slowly, kindly, intentionally. So the next time you feel yourself freezing under pressure, take a breath, remind yourself that it's ancient wisdom, not modern weakness. It's survival, not surrender. And from there, step by step, you can begin to rewire your nervous system. To create a sense of safety where there once was threat, to teach your body that not every pressure is a predator, because the real path forward isn't through force, it's through understanding. Right? And that understanding starts now. Now let's talk about what happens when that numbness doesn't go away. Because sometimes the freeze response doesn't shut off when the threat is over. It lingers, becoming part of your everyday experience. This is where we move from temporary survival to chronic dysfunction. What was meant to protect you in a moment of overwhelm becomes a daily pattern, kind of emotional and physical sleepwalk. You might notice that you feel disconnected, not just during stress, but all the time. Your emotions feel distant. Your body feels like it's operating on autopilot. This isn't just stress anymore. This is your nervous system stuck in a loop. And that loop can be dangerous to your well-being. One common cause is burnout, a prolonged state of emotional and physical exhaustion. Burnout doesn't just make you tired. It drains your ability to feel much of anything at all. Burnout numbs you from the inside out. It leaves you cynical, detached, and emotionally depleted, like you're watching your life go by from the outside. Another factor can be chronic stress. When your body is constantly detecting threats, even small ones, it never gets the chance to truly rest. The freeze response becomes a default mode. And then there are more serious causes. Anxiety disorders, PTSD, and depression all have strong links to emotional and physical numbness. In fact, for some, that numbness is the most painful part. People with PTSD often describe feeling like they're not really here, like the world is muffled, unreal. That's dissociation, your brain trying to protect you from reliving trauma. People with depression may not feel sadness. They feel nothing, a gray emptiness that makes joy and pain equally unreachable. And sometimes it's medication. Certain antidepressants, particularly SSRIs, can lead to emotional blunting, a side effect that dulls not only your lows, but also your highs. If any of this sounds familiar, it's important to know this isn't your fault. This isn't a failure. It's a nervous system that's overwhelmed and doing its best to cope. But coping is not the same as healing. Staying in the freeze state isn't sustainable. It limits your ability to live, to love, and to connect. So what can you do? First, recognize the pattern. Awareness is the first step toward change, then reach out. You don't have to navigate this alone. Therapists and mental health professionals can help you gently bring your nervous system back into balance. They can guide you through techniques like somatic experiencing, which helps your body release stored stress, or EMDR, which can reprocess traumatic memories, or mindfulness-based therapy, which strengthens your ability to stay grounded. You can also start simple, right now. Daily grounding practices, like mindful breathing, gentle stretching, or sensory check-ins can begin to teach your nervous system that it's safe. Things like getting enough sleep, eating nourishing food, moving your body regularly, send powerful safety signals to your brain. They might seem small, but they matter. And most importantly, don't judge yourself for feeling numb. Don't shame yourself for disconnecting. You're not weak, you're adapting, but you deserve more than just survival. You deserve to feel alive, to feel joy, to feel love. And yes, it's possible. With time, support, and patience, your body can unlearn the freeze. Your mind can come back online. Your spirit can reawaken. This isn't the end of the story. It's just the part where you begin to understand, where you start to reclaim your sense of aliveness. Let that numbness be a message, not a sentence. It's your body's way of saying, I've been through too much. Also, I'm ready to come back. The human body is a paradox, both incredibly tough and stunningly sensitive. That duality shows itself most clearly in moments of stress, when everything speeds up and then suddenly shuts down. What feels like a failure is often a protective mechanism, millions of years in the making. When we panic and then go numb, it's not a glitch, it's a program. One that has helped our species survive impossible situations across generations. It starts with the body's alarm system, the fight-or-flight surge. Adrenaline rushes in, muscles tense, heart pounds. We become survival machines. But when there's no clear escape, when the stress feels inescapable, your biology takes a sharp left turn. It hits the brakes. The freeze response is activated. That's when things get weird. The numbness sets in physical and emotional. You're still there, but not quite. Blood flow is rerouted, breathing gets erratic, muscles clamp down, and the brain, trying to shield you, releases chemicals that numb your senses. At the same time, your emotional world dims. You disconnect, feel flat, distant, like someone pulled the plug on your inner world. This isn't weakness. This is your biology doing what it's been trained to do. It's trying to protect you. But that ancient response isn't always helpful in the modern world. It was designed for predators and danger, not emails and expectations. Still, the body doesn't know the difference. Stress is stress. And if it feels inescapable, your brain will pull the oldest trick in the book: play dead and wait. That's what numbness is. Not brokenness, not failure. Written deep into your nervous system. And yes, it can become chronic. It can linger long after the pressure is gone. When that happens, it's your body's signal that it needs help, support, and safety. That's not something to fear. Something to respond to with care, with curiosity, and with compassion. Your body isn't fighting you, it's begging for peace. So when numbness creeps in under pressure, don't panic, don't judge, just listen. Listen to what your body is saying. I'm overwhelmed. I need rest. I need grounding. I need to feel safe again. That's where healing begins. Not with force, but with gentleness. Not with pushing through, but with pausing and tuning in. Because you are not broken. You are not lost. You are built to survive, but you are also meant to thrive. You can learn to soothe your system. You can rebuild your connection to your body and your feelings. Slowly, you can come back online. Start small. One deep breath. One moment of presence. One step toward safety. That's all it takes. This isn't just science, it's hope. A reminder that your brain and body are on your side. They want to heal. And if you've made it this far, you already have everything you need. Awareness, it's insight, and the willingness to reclaim your life. So be patient, be kind, and most of all, be proud. You're not just surviving, you're learning how to live again.